Well, holy shit. What's up? How you doing, True OC? Is that Orange County? Like Orange County from the West Coast or East Coast? And gone, vanished. Who's here? Oh, there you go. Is that OC like just is that just your name or is that like East Coast, West Coast or anywhere in between? Yeah. Oh, you're from Austria. I'm kidding. Australia. Yes. What's going on, man? Or woman, or whatever you are. It's not geographic. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would assume. You know what? I always assumed that. I never really thought Australia really existed. Anyways, I always thought it was a state of mind, and the way motherfuckers talk. If you could just, if you could put that swang, that little whatever in your voice, like people know, you know, it's like you're either from here or you're from there. Oh, my last one. Which one are you talking about? The one I was doing? Oh, I just didn't have anything to say on that. Sometimes yeah, yeah. Sometimes I just end a broadcast because after 10 or 15 minutes, like, that's the information that some people need. Sometimes, most of the times I do like an hour or 2 hours. And if you find it, you find it. But sometimes, like, oh, okay, well, this is what people need for that little bit of info, intel. But yeah, man, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, I never really thought Australia existed. Anyways, in that Australia is a state of mind. I mean, I guess in the sense, New York exists, right? And so does Florida, and so does every place I've been. But it's it's not where you're from; it's where you're at. That kind of attitude. But I don't know that Australia really exists. I think that's just kind of it's a feeling that you have in your heart. That feeling that you have. It just that's it's just the way we talk. A lot of people don't get that. There's just a little something in your voice. You might have been from a certain town, city, or whatever, and you just speak a certain way. That's why I've met people in every place I've been that like you can go somewhere and they speak the same, but they don't speak the same. There's these people that no matter what, they have a certain sort of quality to their voice. Yeah, it's 4:41. What time is it here? Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm a little bit. I don't know if I'm ahead or behind with where I'm at, but it's the same time here. How's that? It's yeah, and it's always hot and sunny where I'm at. 4:41 p.m. Shit. Like for me, whenever I think of, because I've never been there, whenever I think of it because of what's been presented, everybody's either at the beach or in like just fucking fighting kangaroos. Like what a ridiculous thing to say, right? But like you're in the middle of like, it's like if you think of New Orleans, or if you think of Louisiana. Okay, if you think of Louisiana, you're gonna think of the greatest food and ships and all of the like music and whatever, or you're gonna think of these fucking people fighting alligators. It's just as fucking ridiculous because there's so many more. There's so many more life. There's so many more beings here. You got the Cajuns, the Creoles, you got the people coming from the Northeast, you got the people that are working in hotels, you got the people that are uptown, you got the. it's the same fucking thing. Like every other city has their, like, if you live in Kansas City, Missouri, like, that's where you are. Like, if you live in Cleveland, like, that's where the fuck you are. If you live in, you know, Seattle, that's where you are. But there's a few places where you're like, hmm, what are they doing? Like, it's like you bring your fucking kangaroo. I'll bring my crocodile. Or my alligator. Yeah, I mean, we ain't got crocodiles over here. Where did crocodile? See, crocodiles and alligators they're slightly different, right? Where do crocodiles live? Are crocodiles over where you are? Where we got alligators over here? We got like, this is the Florida Gators. This is Gator country. So gators and crocodiles are a little different. Are they both? See, that's the thing is I don't know. Are they both like are they both American, or you have the big you got the crocs. We got the gators. Yeah, we got the gators. You got the crocs. Like your croc, yeah. There you go. Yeah, you got the big crocs, but the gators are more fucking attacky. They're very much more. Yeah, crocodile. Yeah, there you go. Crocodile Dundee. Thank you. See, look at that. See, true OC. I think we figured it out. Down south, New Orleans style, and Florida and Georgia, like where I'm at. Like we got gators everywhere, but you got Crocodile Dundee. Hey, my favorite. The favorite scene of everybody is that ain't a knife. Does he say that ain't a knife? This is a knife, or does he say that ain't a knife? That's a knife. Which one? What does he say? And because that's an American movie, right? That's not like you guys just know that because we say that stupid shit. Like that's a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. He says this is a knife, right? This is a knife. Thank you. This is a knife. Yeah. So, hey, when you guys had to watch that movie, did they have to translate that? Come on. That's a knife. This is a knife. Uh-huh. Oh, so good, so good. Ah. Yeah, I know. Unless it's no, you know what's funny? Have you ever looked that up? Because it did get changed. Yo, true. I'm telling you, go look up the Mandela effect. About that scene, that movie. That is Mandela affected because there was one thing that I was certain he said that a friend of mine who's a comedian and he can do voices. He's recited movies. He knows shit. And he used to do this shit all the time. I lived with the dude for fucking for I don't know 5 years. I lived with him, right? And he would say that movie line, and then I after I watched the scene again from the movie. I text him. I was like, what what is that? What did he say? And he told me what he said, and I was like, nope, that's not what happened. And then I played the movie. He's like, what? No. So, so go check out the Mandela effect of Crocodile Dundee of That's Not a Knife. This knife, and it's a funny one. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm just on here just talking shit at this point. So, which ones? You should go check it out though, and I need to hear it from you because you're one of the ones you might know. I mean, obviously the movie was made for these bunch of fucking American riffraff. These fucking clowns. Yeah. Yeah, the Mandela. Hey, do you have any Mandela effect besides the? I mean, everybody's got the Berenstein Bears. I mean, that's that one. That one is funny because that's where. Do I believe in it? That's hard to say. I mean, what aspect of it? You know, that's a really long. Let me sip on this tequila real quick, and then I'll tell you. To say, do I believe in it? That's like believing in Santa Claus. You know, I know that Santa Claus exists because I know who the shaman is and I know how that works. But to say, did Santa Claus exist when I was a child? You know, no. That was Pappy. You know, that was Daddy. That was like my folks. But has there been some weird shit going on in the timeline? Has there been some weird shit that's like, oh, that's kind of unexplainable, like the Volkswagen thing and all the other shit? Yeah, but you didn't, most of that shit, none of us really paid attention to, you know. Like, should I really know that fucking, that shit was spelled that way and that was, it's all media driven. So, no, not really, but kind of. There's a couple weird things. For me, the biggest one was um, the, well, there was two big ones. And one was life is like a box of chocolates. That's the biggest one. Life is like a box of chocolates. That one you can't get around that unless I rewatched the whole movie and I realized there's two parts to that. You know what I mean? Yeah, anything is possible, right? I mean, we live in time is a very fucking time is a very fucking weird thing. It's not a linear process. It just happens this way. It's it's multidimensional. So you could have been dipping over there in what you think is 2020 fucking 19, what is it, 2019 where you are? I don't know. But you could have been in 2018 on Avenue A. I could have been on Avenue C. So I don't discount that. I don't discount anybody's belief system or where they were. But there's just like, it's kind of like if you sit in the same room with somebody and somebody's, if me and you are sitting next to each other and then somebody in front of us is talking and they say something and I go, did you hear what the fuck they just said? And then we go like, did they just say that? And they're like, no, they said this. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of sounded like, that's most of the Mandela effect is that. But there is some that I go, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Is there a little bit of residue? Is there a little bit of that kind of funkiness of going, Nonetheless, this tequila is fucking, mm, it's fucking fabulous. Yeah, the Mandela effect, man. Like did the Mandela here? Do it this way. To make it out. Did anybody in the 70s? Did the Mandela effect exist? I mean, because it's Mandela, it's a mandala. But did it exist in the 70s? But they didn't have any way of explaining it to somebody else. You know, there was no internet to just say about it. We could just all unify and go, yo, that shit wasn't like a different way. Well, what the fuck are you talking about? In the 70s, like you didn't have a cell phone. You could have maybe made it like 2 hours later, be like, yo, did you see that? Did you hear that? Like, yeah, it's hard to fuck with in in 1940. You think in 1940, you know what they did? It's like, nah, this person's fucking crazy. Now it's people like, oh yeah, yeah, like you experienced that too, yeah. Oh, so you experienced that even though it's it's not popular belief or opinion, and you've observed it a different way. So maybe they actually observed it perfectly, and the rest of the reality was just making shit up. Like Mandela effect is kind of like, I don't know, who's Nelson? Who is that? Who's that guy? Who's Nelson Mandela? I never met the guy. Did he even exist? You know what? In 2 or 3 years, what if Nelson Mandela doesn't exist? You know what I'm saying? What if Nelson Mandela never existed? Like Nelson Mandela, what are you talking about? Because you could, if you had. Here, let me explain it to you this way. If there is, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go hard mode on you right now. I'm gonna go the fucking craziest. I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out the water. If you're smart enough to invent the internet, and you're the government and you have all of this power, you have internet A, internet B, internet C, D, E, F, G. You have a plan A, B, and C, right? If you're just a smart person, you have a plan A and a plan B and a plan C. But what if you have 20 internets or 100? And in a year from now, what you do is you just hit internet B, and it erases the entire internet that it used to exist. It's basically like book burning. Do you remember when people used to burn books? Like, first was the burning of Alexandria, then it was the burning of the next set of information that was provided, right? And you just get rid of certain books. And that took a lot of people. But now it's all online. And all you have to do is push one button and it just burns the last internet. Meaning it doesn't exist anymore. So what if we're on internet, you say we're on 4.0, like every time you update your software on any of your systems, the last shits things that you were working with don't exist anymore. Yes, yes, multiple dimensions. So in that way, it's multiple dimensions in the real world, in the organic world. Like certainly, like come on, we're dipping through dimensions. Like who the fuck cares? Like this is a fun little game, and we're gonna continue on this, and we're gonna grow, and we're gonna like hopefully, hopefully you don't have hopefully you don't have kids, and then like you wake up in the morning like, didn't I have 3 kids yesterday? And like they're like, no, you didn't have any kids. Uh, and now all of a sudden, instead of your wife having blonde hair and blue eyes, you know, you have the like what the fuck? Like that would be a strange one for sure. But in the sense of what if we're on internet 10.7 right now? But the first internet we started with had a different set of information, and somebody was like, "Okay, ready?" Boop, and hits a button. Everything just, you know, 51st. Thank you. There you go. Like Drew Barrymore. And what is Drew Barrymore's name? Like a Barrymore? What's that? Isn't she connected to the into the tree, the Christmas tree? Like Drew Barrymore is very much connected to Barry what's her name, the really beautiful black woman, Barry fucking what's her name, why am I screwing this up? But Barrymore is the 51st Dates one. And what's the one with who used to be who was in that movie with yeah, Holly Berry. So Drew Barrymore and Holly Berry, there's a connection there. So the berry, the holly berry tree, the holly berries above the Christmas tree, and like you walk in and you get a kiss underneath the 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 holly berry right there, the holy berry, the holly berry, and the berry more, right? There's a connection there, right? Restarting, they're very much connected. Yeah, the mistletoe. Yeah. So I think there's a very interesting connection to all that. So whether it's physical, organic, inorganic, conscious, or otherwise, like shit always does get reset. You could play the mud flood game. You could play the you know hey, the Tartarians. You could play the whatever whatever game you want to play. You pull out a tarot deck, but it seems to be the different cycles and ages and of energies. You know, we could look up to the stars and say it's going to be next 2020. There's going to be a reset because of the age of Aquarius and the man with the bucket of water. And yeah, but you live for 70 years, so who the fuck cares when you're dead in 70 years? You wake up again, you're like, it could be any time. But what if you wake up tomorrow and it is any time? What if you could change it to any time? Wouldn't that be more important that you could just change it to any time? I think that's I think that's what the goal of all of this, if there is one, if we're a part of this grand collective consciousness, it would be that everyone's supposed to be made to be a god and goddess. That has to be it. There's no one supposed to be turned into there's no one supposed to be turned into less than they are. There's no one supposed to be turned into some slave or some, ridiculous system that just turns into 1984 or Brave New World. I don't think it works that way. There's no way. Because there must be a higher consciousness. Because if I were to control the world, I would never let that happen. And as far as I'm concerned, I do control the world. At least mine. And if I and if other people have control of the world, I couldn't imagine that anybody want the world to be worse than what they grew up in. Even the most evil, if there are evil people, they would never create a more evil environment than they were already subject to. Even if their parents sucked, they would always create a better environment for their offspring. You know? And I think that's the most important thing to be taken from from whatever experience that anyone has is like it doesn't you could be mad at anything. You could do the most weird shit could happen to you. You'd be like, I would never have that happen to anybody around me. I don't know anybody that's been through some fucking tough weird shit that's like everyone should pay the piper for the things that I've gone through. I've never seen that. I've never heard of that. Even people that have gone through fucking dumb shit. So yeah. Well, that was fun. Hopefully you're enjoying this weird shit. So we got through the 51st dates, the mistletoes, the holly berry the Drew berry hollymore tree, and we'll just smash them together. That would be kind of sexy, I think, because Drew Barrymore, I don't find that very I don't find Drew Barrymore very sexy. I think she's just, but Holly Berry though. Yeah, man. I mean, positive is perspective, but yeah, positivity is only an outcome of negativity. If you get pressure put in one position, like if you blow a balloon up, it's gonna eventually something's gonna happen. There's only so much it could take, right? There's only it's like people that are like happy happy, happy happy joy joy, that kind of shit. Unless you say happy happy joy joy, like Ren and Stimpy kind of shit. Um, it's there's always as far as the world would have you expect, there's an equal opposite. I mean, I don't think it that way. I think there's a more to it than just balance in two directions, because I don't believe in duality that way. It's like you ever watch a people take the 10 paces, they turn around, they try to shoot each other. It's called a duel. But if you ever notice, there's someone standing like on top with a shotgun about to blow someone's brains out, and there's somebody over there in the corner in the shadows that might shoot the other person. Like there's never a binary system, and it's not even a trinary system. It's well beyond that. So like two people could be about to turn around and shoot each other, and there might be like 20 people like, nah, that person is not gonna shoot that person, and just blow that other person's fucking brains out before they even turn around. They're gonna get to like 8 steps and just get their brains blown out, and it's done. So there's no binary system, and there's not even a trinary system. There's a multifaceted um, way of viewing the world. So there's not positive and negative the same way there's not men and women. I think it's a little more simple. Complexity can be simple. You know, uh, simplicity can make it difficult, but complexity can make it easy. So with that being said, the simplicity is this. I'm gonna take a nap. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out and chatting with me, uh, amigo. True. Please elaborate on that. How to elaborate on that? It means. I mean, I just said it like there's how many people are on your team? How many people are on your side? You know, how many sides are there? There can't be two sides to anything. There's four sides to a square. So now all of a sudden we're talking quad systems. And if you're working in 3 dimensions, then you have at least four. In 3 dimensions, what you have is depth, and the depth requires, like, here. Let me make it easiest as possible. I'm gonna make a video tomorrow about this exact concept, and here's the name of the video. I'm gonna tell you already ahead of time. It's called Three Sides to a Coin. Meditate on 3 sides to a coin. People say there's 2 sides to a coin. That's impossible. It's impossible that there's 2 sides to a coin. You know, tell anybody of the few people that are here, understand or understand, overstand, stand under, stand around, stand inside of. But you have to just, there is not 2 sides to a coin. For 2 sides to exist, there must be a third dimension. A piece of paper, a piece of paper has three dimensions. A piece of paper. I can write on the front and the back. Just because you can write on the side. It's just too. It's too. Take your pen, go get a piece of paper, and you say, "Oh, there's 2 sides to the paper." I was like, "No, there's not. There's 3 dimensions of that paper. It's just the depth of that paper is just smaller than you're able to comprehend." But you could take your pen, you could write your name on one side, write your name on the other, and then you could scratch your blue ink on the side of the paper. There's 3 dimensions to paper. So with a coin, you say there's 2 sides to a coin. No, there's 3 sides. You could flip a coin and you say heads or tails. Heads or tails. And there's going to be one time, it might be in a million, but it will land on its third dimension. It will land where there, you get no heads or tails. That's a fact. Because there's that little bit right there that you say, I'm gonna take heads, I'm gonna take tails. That's what the roulette wheel is, the roulette wheel. You get red or black or the green. The 0 and the double 0 is where it lands if you flip a coin, and it lands just in between where it doesn't fall over and just lands on its other side. And so there's a third dimension to reality. And that's the most important thing that people need to know. You can't talk, you can't speak, you can't do anything if there's 2 sides. 2 sides don't exist. It's like you're having a fight with your girlfriend. I'll say it this way: you have a fight with your girlfriend, or you might have a fight with your boyfriend. You got your side, they got their side, but there's also that in between. There's that triangulation, and so there's a 3 sides. That's why tribal always wins. That's why the triune God is always alive and well. There's no binary system. It doesn't exist. It only exists because of the uh, that balance in the middle. That fulcrum. The fulcrum exists. Yeah. Well, again, thanks for joining for this ridiculous conversation between me and well, we didn't, me and Trio C. We just fucking around here. Stay cool, stay well, stay groovy and funky, and always, yeah, good to see you, Trio C. Uh, and Super Champion, always good to see you. We'll talk soon. I'm gonna take a fucking nap because I am tired. When I get up, I'll be ready to go for another day of insanity. Come join me tomorrow for another lesson in weirdness.